Hey guys, it's Suzy, and for week 3, I'm recording for Wendy's. But guess what? I actually remembered to bring my good podcasting microphone and an earpiece. So maybe even though I can hear Tina Turner Simply the Best, you can't hear that in the background. I'm so excited about tonight's topic. And you're like, if you've never met me, then you won't know. But if you've, been here hanging around, then you'll know I say I'm excited about everything, but that is my personality. So anyway, tonight is part 1 of a 2-part mini series. You're like, Suzy, like, what's up with all the series? Well, my mind just flows different ways. But I thought of a really good 2-part series about using Canvas as a newsletter because I had so many teachers that were still having to create a paper newsletter. So let's talk about some reasons why you shouldn't do that. Next slide, please. Okay, I can think of 4 reasons why Canvas is a better newsletter for you. Number 1, it's a lot of trouble to edit a paper newsletter. You could bring out the old whiteout if you're still a fan of that. If you've lived through the 80s and 90s as I have, as I approach my birthday, I more often think about how many decades I've lived through. But anyway, if you ever tried to go back and edit a piece of paper, you can't edit on real paper very easily, but even to edit that physical copy, which you were probably exporting from Word into PDF or something, it's just a lot of work. Plus, it wastes papers, save the trees. Is it just me, or have you found that many of your newsletters get dropped on the floor before the children even leave the room? Now, I've told you I taught older kids, but I would give them a rubric and I would just find it right there on the floor before they even took it out of the room. So let's just, not waste the paper, but especially if we're going to waste it, let's help it make it out of the room. And then finally, a piece of paper cannot remind a parent. I have a sweet friend, Anna. I'm going to give her a shout out. Our children are in preschool together. And she is my built-in reminder on, hey, Suzy, it's picture day, or it's, bring your teacher a treat day, or whatever else I would forget. But what if you have no Anna in your life? A piece of paper newsletter is not going to shout out and tell your parents, hey, don't forget picture day tomorrow. Don't send your kid looking like Steve Urkel. But Canvas can do that. So I'm going to break it down into the 3 areas where I think Canvas can replace your paper newsletter. Are you excited? Stay tuned. Public service announcement. It feels like fall in Georgia. Public service announcement number 2. I actually do have attractive Canvas courses. However, they have personal identifying information in them, which is why I always show you my terrible ones. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about the first way that Canvas can replace your newsletter, and that is through the announcements feature. If you want to know that people are actually getting something, it's notifying them. Now, they can turn off all their notifications, but most have not turned off everything. You want to make sure that students and parents are getting what you send home. It's not being left on the floor. Then announcements are a great way to do that. So in any course, you tap the announcements button, and it's as simple as clicking plus announcement, title, whatever you want to write in the box down here. And you can even, if you have not watched my birthday announcement video, go back and watch it. There's a whole feature on that you can use to delay posting if you need to make an announcement ahead of time and you want to look really professional. But announcements are just a really basic way to get stuff to parents. If you want to make your announcements look good, you can save JPEGs in PowerPoint. If you've never done that before, it's actually pretty easy. Let me get into... This is going to look a little meta for a minute because I'm in a PowerPoint talking about PowerPoint. But if you go and you make, for example, I'm just going to pick a random, pick a random, not theme. I do too many of these things off the top of my head. I'm going to pick a random thing. Okay, sure. I'm just picking something. I'm going to create that. Hopefully I didn't pick the worst one. So I'm going to pause while you don't have to wait for me to download that. I decided, like the woman that I am, that I wanted to change my mind, also like Bobby Brown. But anyway, I downloaded a different template. But did you know that if you wanted to make a cute announcement, it's as easy as using PowerPoint or Google Slides. You can just go to File, Export. Now I'm using PowerPoint. You can figure this out in Google Slides, but you just go to File, Export. It'll ask you what type, and I just change the file type and make it a JPEG. And then that'll give you an image that then you can add to. Let me make sure I don't actually close my whole PowerPoint. That'll give you an image that you can put in your announcement right here using your images button. You can upload it to Canvas and then add it to this announcement there. Or another favorite site of mine is called Canva, not to be confused with Canvas. This is a design site for non-designers. Now I'm going to recommend that you use a rectangular shape. So you would just scroll down and you could find something that was rectangular, like this random Be the Real Thing. And then you can also download that. So see where it says download, and I can download that as a JPEG and add it into Canvas. So the first tip for announcements is to use them, to make sure that people see your stuff, use an announcement. Second thing is to make that announcement cute. and you can watch my whole birthday announcements video on more ideas for that, incorporating Bitmoji, blah, blah, blah. And then the third tip for using announcements is you want to make sure if people even are connected to get your announcements. And y'all, I've said it before, but nobody is going to read a blank Canvas course. If you're like, well, I don't use Canvas because nobody goes there, give them a reason to go there. Like, put stuff there. Feature a mystery kid every week, and they have to check. You don't even say who it is in the topic title. Now, of course, you're following guidelines with social media with your school, yada, yada. Y'all know that part. I'm not the boss of anything. But anyway, give them a reason to go. So if you want to see if people are seeing what you see, then you'll go to your people button in any course. I'm going to leave this announcement because I didn't really make one. And you would just filter by observer. And then you see this is a really sleepy course. It's a little desert town with tumbleweeds. But if you had observers linked in that had signed in, then you'd know, oh, I have 10 parents who can actually see these announcements. What can I do to get more parents? So that's just one way I think that Canvas can replace your paper newsletter is with announcements. So we know your paper newsletter previously communicated announcements, but it also might communicate lessons that are upcoming or unit themes. And so a great way to do that is on the calendar, especially when, I think of little kids as having newsletters, but I know that I used to post an agenda or something even for my high school students. And so no matter if they have just you or if they have everybody, I like that the calendar flows together, especially for students who have multiple courses with multiple teachers, or they're self-contained with you all day, but maybe they take social studies in one Canvas course, math in another, yada, yada, yada. So I like that everything can flow into the same place. And if all the teachers work together to use the same system, then announcing your lessons and themes on the calendar makes perfect sense. So let me just show you the very basics of the calendar. I think I might make a separate video on that at some point. So I would love for you to leave me a comment if you're like, Suzy, I'd like to get some more ninja tips on the calendar. So I'm just going to pretend that I have an event coming up next week, and I'm going to tap on the calendar right there. The other thing you can do is you can come up to the very top and hit the plus, and you can add an event that way. Now, event just means I want to announce a topic. An assignment obviously comes with grades, and I don't usually do assignments from here, but assignments filter to here. So if you create an assignment, through your modules or through assignments, however you create them, then they will still publish to the calendar from that course. And then there's a new My To Do. I don't actually know if it's really new, but I've never used that. So anyway, so we're going to just stick with event for now because we're thinking about, for example, in your newsletter, you might have announced a theme like animal habitats. And let's just say I'm starting it on, the 15th of September, and I'm going to click submit. And then I say, shoot, well, that's actually going to last for not just on the 15th, but longer than that. What I can do is if I hover over the right side of that event, I can stretch it and say, maybe this is a 2-week unit. Then parents quickly at a glance know, okay, that's kind of what they're covering there. And if you need to unstretch it, because that's a question that'll come up sometimes, if you need to unstretch it, you have to come in and change something about it, and then it'll let you, stretch it back out. So if you are like, shoot, I meant to get to that and I didn't. Now, something else really important to know, I showed you how to add one, but here's the deal. A lot of teachers I've worked with, or me, myself, I have added something to a calendar and then kids are like, I can't see that. It's because I forgot to put it on the appropriate course. The calendar with your name on it, guess what? Only you can see. It's your business. It's a mind your business calendar. And so if you accidentally make all these fabulous events and you make them on the wrong calendar, they are doing no one any good. So you want to make sure, and you can tell because this color right here is customizable. I'll show you where the color comes from. But this color lets me know this is my personal calendar. Whereas if I put this in not a course, which is a really classy name, it turns olive green, and then it'll also match that on here so that as I'm managing multiple courses in one calendar and as the students are seeing multiple courses, they can also color code. The colors come from right over here. You can click those 3 dots and you can change the color of that course. And we talked about making Canvas cute on a different one, so I'll let you go back and watch that. But anyway, so you can add an event, you can stretch an event. This is a great place, again, to announce lessons and themes. And also you want to make sure you're announcing on the right calendar. This one little soapbox moment, I just want to say, as soon as you announce something to kids, go ahead and put it on your calendar. If it's an assignment, which is not related to this video, and you don't put it in on there until after you're ready to grade it. I was an English teacher. It took me forever to grade things because they were all written and I had to actually give a rip and read them. Then, not to say you don't if you're not an English teacher, I just had to give lots of rips because it took a long time to read them. But anyway, it's a good habit if you would announce something in class to go ahead and stick it on your calendar. So whether it's a theme, whether it's a lesson, or whether it's an actual assignment, use the calendar before the thing happens to actually help people, students, parents manage their time well. If you've been around a while, then you know that I think modules are the key to Canvas. They're the hidden treasure of Canvas, whatever you want to call them. They're the master folder for everything else you do in Canvas. To find modules, you go to your course dashboard. So within the course, the buttons on the left, the modules, and you can add modules from here. I'm not going to show you the whole add a module process because that is covered in another video. So if you go back to my Canvas for Littles series, whether you teach littles or not, I teach modules there. But what I wanted to say is the third thing that you might have wanted to share with parents. Now, when I say paper newsletter, maybe this would have had QR codes or something, but you might have wanted to share links to other resources like Google this page, go to such and such to find a list of sight words, whatever it was. You wanted to share some kind of resources with parents. Modules are a great way to do that. Not only are they good for, as I've heard several teachers reach out to me, which thank you guys so much for leaving comments. I know I'm trying to get back to all of them. I try to be faithful, but I get so many Facebook messages, comments, which are such a blessing. But one of the things that I've heard is that people are using almost daily modules and then unhiding those as they go through, which is awesome. But have you thought about using modules for linked resources that you might share with parents? Well, that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to just say plus module. I'm going to call this one Parent Resources. Click Add Module. And in this particular instance, again, I'm not going to show you everything you can add to modules, and they go to the bottom. So let me scroll here. I'm not going to show you everything you can do with modules because that's a different video, but what I want to show you specifically is the link feature. So first of all, I'm going to publish this module. I'm going to click the Ghostbuster and turn him into a green. I'm going to click plus, and then assignment is the default option, but you can drop that down to external URL, which just means link, and you just paste it in there and give it a name. So I'm just going to put some random stuff in there, okay? These are not real. I'm going to call this Brain Pop Cells. That doesn't sound very parent-y. I just wanted to show you that you can do it. So in addition to announcing your units and lessons on the calendar or sending announcements for things that need to ping the parents, then this just can be a growing list of resources that you want them to always have. Again, sight word list, lunch calendar, specials calendar, birthday list, whatever it is that you think would be good for parent resources, you're going to add those under external URL. I'm going to click Add Item. And then this can be my growing list of resources for parents. And I just publish those. Sometimes when you publish the whole module after, it'll publish everything underneath it. I don't have the rhyme or reason for that. So if you ever see not a green check, that means no one can see it but you. But this is just a third way if you want to give parents a collection of resources that you can add that instead of having them on a paper, unread, tree-wasting newsletter. Let's say that you're ready to launch. You're like, Suzy, you've convinced me. I didn't want to do a paper newsletter anyway, and I think I could show this video to my administrator and convince them not to make me, or you're going to be a rogue and go out on your own. Either way, and when I say paper, y'all, I know let me pause here. I know we're in digital learning, but it could still be that you're sending a PDF newsletter. I still think Canvas, the built-in tools are a better way. But here's the point of this segment. You want to make sure that whatever you're using with parents is actually viewable by parents. So I just want to remind you, if you go to settings and you're going to be using announcements and modules, you'll need to go to navigation and make sure those are at the top of your course navigation. Now the order is up to you. You can see that I have almost everything hidden on my course. I like to be very simplified for parents, and you can watch a whole video about that too. It's called Simplifying the Sidebar. But anyway, I made sure that announcements and modules were enabled for parents because they're at the top. If they were not, it would say drag items here to hide them from students. If this were dragged down to the bottom, that would obviously be hidden. So drag announcements and modules to the top and then make sure you save if they're not already there. And the order in which you put them is just also drag and drop. So you can change these, okay? Like I don't really want assignments there for students because I like everything in modules. So I could just save that. And then when I go view it as a student, which is how the observer would see it, the parent, then now I've got home, announcements, and modules. So you just want to make sure those buttons are enabled or all your hard work, again, no one is seeing. I hope this video helped you and made you think differently about the Canvas newsletter possibility. And I want to give you a teaser that later this week, my goal is Thursday. So this is a Tuesday when I'm posting the first one. You might be watching this years from now in Kingdom Come. But the next video that should follow this one, you can watch them out of order if you want, is if you decide, Suzy, but I like Canvas, but I still want everything in my newsletter on one page. Well, could I convince you to do a digital version of that one page that allows for media and all different kinds of coolness? I can? then watch my next video because that's going to be about using Sway as an embeddable piece of content for a single page digital newsletter in Canvas. That was a lot, so you'll have to watch the video and find out. Bye now. Hey guys, I put my heart into these videos, so I hope you loved it. I hope you've loved all of them, but if you haven't, then make sure you go back and watch the previous videos. I'm making playlists for you all the time. So if you're somebody who wants time savers, there's a playlist for that. If you want to gamify, playlist for that. And all of my themes of my blog. So, did you like it? Go ahead and click the thumb below. If you really liked it, I'd love if you shared it on your favorite social media channel. I'm at Suzy Lolley on Twitter. And then finally, my very favorite is if you subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube and subscribe on the blog. Take care.